The music provided for this episode of the Tom Retro Chronicle is brought to you by the song called Red Light from the artist called Nethys. To check out more Pod-Safe music, check out dig.ccmixter.org. A 1, a 2, a 3, 4, 5. It is the Tom Retro Chronicle with your host called Tom Retro.
Looking good, baby!
Tom Retro is also known as the Retro Guy and has a very interesting angle on things like sports, music, movies, books, and pretty much mostly life. He has a WordPress account, a very funny Twitter account, and overall a very interesting guy. Yeah. And also has very interesting interviews like me, Arnold Schwarzenegger, yeah. So let's head it to our very own very special host called Tom Retro. And welcome to the Tom Retro Chronicle, episode 12, instead of what would be episode 13. No, it is episode 12 of this podcast, and I am taping this on a very bright and sunny morning here in Fargo, North Dakota. Pretty chilly outside, but it wasn't so chilly yesterday when it was almost 50 degrees on a December afternoon. It's kind of odd, but it is early December, so I'm not too surprised about it. But I'm just saying, it's supposed to get a little bit more warmer later on in the week, probably on Wednesday and Thursday, but we're supposed to get snow towards the weekend, so yuck. I know, it's pretty yucky, but oh well, it is winter. I mean, I'm not too surprised about it, but alright, for episode 12, I have a pretty light episode for you all. Probably might be the only episode for this week, because I have some, I believe I mentioned this on the last episode, that I got the job at Herbergers as a sales associate and whatnot. So I'm going to be pretty busy, especially since today and pretty much now until Christmas, it's the holiday season. And that means pretty much everybody's going to be shopping for clothes, jewelry, kids' clothes, whatnot, etc., etc. So, yeah, not sure if I'm going to be doing another episode this week, so stay tuned. If I don't upload an episode, probably the reason is because I'm too busy doing stuff at work. So I'll be doing a little bit of a life update, talking a little bit more about that, and then we have some NFL Week 13 stuff to recap. Pretty excited about that too. So here we go. NFL Week 13 is in the books as of last night, with great victory from great win against the Giants. The Redskins pulled off a very, very close game. It pretty much kind of went down to the wire. The Redskins had the ball last, but I certainly thought that last Giants possession, I thought this might be the last drive of the game, and that if the Redskins defense even gave Eli Manning any any big play on the field, then pretty much Lawrence Tynes would probably attempt a field goal and then game over, and I would be sitting in with my 11th win in picks for this week. So, oh well. I'm not feeling too down in the dumps about that. But thanks, Redskins. Thank you for destroying the Giants Bros, because I wanted revenge, and I certainly got that. So thanks. All right. Well, other than that, I kind of want to talk about a couple of games. Starting with the Thursday night game with the Saints and the Falcons. Now, I don't know about you, but this game didn't really prove to me all that much. I didn't learn all that much from the Falcons in this game. I mean, I thought if the Falcons' defense would improve, then certainly I thought the Falcons' offense would improve. But it was come more along the lines of just the defense improving. But so certainly the Falcons defense picked off Drew Brees about three, 4 times in that game, and so certainly I thought the Falcons offense would absolutely turn those turnovers into points. Oh, okay, it was five interceptions. So certainly I thought the Falcons would have blown the game way open, but I guess I have to give some credit to the Saints defense in that they kept the Falcons from even getting any more causing more damage than there was. So honestly, I didn't really learn all that much from the game. So I still believe that the Falcons should be easily a 9-3 team instead of 11-1 team. So Saints are pretty much out of the playoffs. I'm just saying. With 4 weeks left in the season, there's no way in heck the Saints could easily get into the playoffs. The amount of help would be extraordinary if the Saints actually got into the playoffs. So enough of that game. Kind of want to talk about the Vikings and Packers game. It wasn't that great of a poor performance from the Packers. It wasn't necessarily that great for the Vikings either, but Ponder was 12 for 25 for 119 yards, while Aaron Rodgers was 27 for 35 for 286 yards. Okay, so it was a pretty good. It was a good start for Aaron Rodgers. The running game got back to its roots. There was actually even a rushing touchdown for the first time in about 6 games. 6 games, pretty crazy. So that's how much our running game hasn't been that consistent. And James Starks had 15 carries for 66 yards. While Adrian Peterson had another great game with 21 carries for 210 yards, including an 86, I believe it was an 80-plus rushing touchdown that pretty much killed our defense. Our defense in that game wasn't that great. The poor tackling has been another issue that I've had with for this defense. Let alone the pass rush. The pass rush hasn't been, I think the pass rush has been kind of on a limited basis since Clay Matthews has been out for injury. So certainly I can respect that the pass rush hasn't been that great, but our pass rushers have to step up, So certainly poor tackling is not an excuse. It's hardly an excuse. It's hardly an excuse for that. Yeah, we got a win. Honestly, it doesn't exactly really that matter as long as we get wins. But come playoff time, I kind of want to expect our problems to be solved instead of showing up again, rising up again. Seattle or Chicago. If there was one quarterback that improved, in my mind, it was Russell Wilson. Wilson was 23 had 23 completed passes for 37 attempts, and he had 293 yards passing. And that was a pretty good start for him. While Jay Cutler was 17 for 26 for Cutler. So, and both quarterbacks had 2 touchdowns each. I mean, this was a pretty good game. Sidney Rice had, I believe it was the game-winning score, or CBS Sportsline doesn't have the overtime score up there, so shocking. Seattle has been a pretty good home team, but on the road, I certainly thought that Chicago would handle the Seahawks pretty good in this game, but not too surprised about it. But all I'm saying is that the Seahawks haven't been that great on the road. I'm just saying. Okay. Indianapolis at Detroit. Detroit was in terms of playoffs, they were pretty much out, so they were more along the lines playing for pride. And the Lions also wanted to play spoiler because the Colts are 8-4 and looking to get into a wild card spot. So certainly I thought Detroit would have made that one a game, and it turned out it was a pretty good game. In fact, it was probably the best game of the Sunday slate. The Lions defense on that last play. Boy. You gotta make the play. When you were down, I believe it was 28-33. And you somehow blow the game within a few seconds of it. So, I'm pretty surprised about that. So, Lions are 4-8. I think they still can. I still think they can win a couple games, but they still have the Bears and the Packers to deal with. So it's gonna be a pretty long road. I think they still play. I know they have to play the Packers again at Lambeau, but I'm trying to think if they play against the Bears. As soon as I can get this up. How about Calvin Johnson with that one-handed catch? That guy is seriously a beast. Okay, yeah, they do. Okay, they do play Chicago at home. Okay, so I was right. Okay. I'm trying to think of some other games I want to talk about. I guess I could probably talk about one more on here. How about Carolina and Kansas City? This game would have been. This game was actually pretty pretty close. Chiefs came up and came off pretty shocking tragedy on Saturday, and it involved a Chiefs player who had killed his wife in a Kansas City neighborhood, and then he took his own life at the Arrowhead Stadium parking lot, right in front of Romeo Crennel, the head coach, and Scott Pioli, which I believe his name is Scott, but Pioli right in front of them, and Javon Belcher pretty much took his own life right in front of them. So pretty shocking story to be had. Personally, if I was the people that wanted to decide on whether this game will be played or not, certainly I thought this game would have been on Monday night. So I thought this game should have been played on Monday night, just to give people some more time to mourn for the family. So it wasn't my decision, but Chiefs came with their second victory of the season. So Brady Quinn was 19 for 23 for 201 yards, while Cam Newton was 15 for 27 for 232 yards. So pretty decent starts for both quarterbacks. It was a pretty good game. I mean, I'm not throwing anything out there, but it was a good game. So trying to see how I'll get time here. I guess I could talk about one more game with last night's game. Very good game. I was certainly impressed with the Redskins defense, who have been dealing with quite a bit of injuries, especially to Brian Orakpo. And the final score in that one was 16 Giants and 17 Redskins. So it was a pretty tight game. Did anyone see that one play with RG3 fumbling the ball to Josh Morgan, and it was a 13-yard fumble return. Except it was actually a good fumble return. It was just more of like a little toss, like RG3 over his head. He threw the ball over his head, and to Josh Morgan, who somehow or another came up with the ball. And if it wasn't that case, it would have been more of a totally different game. So some of the stats in this one was RG3, Robert Griffin III, was 13 for 21 for 163 yards passing for one touchdown, while Eli Manning was had 20 completions for 33 attempts and a touchdown. Mod Bradshaw had a 100-yard rushing game for 24 carries for 103 yards, while Alfred Morris had 22 carries for 124 yards. And Robert Griffin III, who is also more of a capable runner than anything else, had 5 carries for 72 yards. His longest was from 46 yards. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive guy. I mean, that guy will be a possible superstar, and for quite a long time. I mean, that guy is a beast. I'm telling you right now, he's a beast. Alright. Okay. Well, for this topic, I'm pretty much done with it. So on to the last topic. Alright, so as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I wanted to do a little bit of a life update. In terms of this topic, I'm just basically talking about me, my life, how my life is going so far. So in terms of my life, I'm pretty happy now that I have a job. I'm gonna be making quite a bit of good money. It's about $8 an hour, so it's about a quarter less than I was getting paid for at the country club, which was $8.25 an hour. This is $8 flat an hour, and basically, I thought to myself, well, I'd like to get some retail experience into my resume, since nowadays people still go to malls to shop, and certainly I kind of wanted to get into that business, and certainly it wasn't that easy to get into it. So certainly I'd tried plenty of companies like Target, who somehow or another always turn me down for some reason. But then I went to try to Macy's, and I thought I had a pretty good interview. And then about hours later, excuse me, but hours later I got notification that I basically didn't get the job. So certainly that turned me down quite a bit. So I decided to try Herbergers, because I think I tried Herbergers once, but they never really contacted me back. So I go into the job interview, which was last Thursday, which I believe I mentioned earlier before on episode 11. And so I go into it. They asked me some basic questions, why you want to work for them, all that stuff. And I was actually surprised when they said that they wanted to hire me, and I was like, what? Wow. Certainly I thought, well, because I've been used to rejection from certain places, I thought, wow. I pretty much said yes, because you can't get much more retail with Herbergers. So I decided, yes, I take it. So yesterday I started to get into the paperwork. Started work on that. Work on the paperwork, all that kind of stuff. And course, I got paid for that. But I was there for about an hour, so I made $8 just doing paperwork. So pretty good stuff. So today I'm supposed to go in to do some training. So that's pretty exciting. I'm supposed to do some kind of stuff with Terminal, and that should last me for about a good 2.5 or 4 hours. So I'll be there for quite a while. Um, anyway, and tomorrow is supposed to be the big day, where I basically start my first day on the sales floor, and I'm supposed to be there for about from 8:45 to 5. So it's gonna be it might be a pretty long day, and who knows if I will do an episode on this podcast about that. So keep your eyes open. So in terms of my life, it's gonna feel good just to get start to get some money back into and get some income back into my life. So definitely excited about that. In terms of other things in my life, on Friday I went with a friend to go see his guitar teacher play at the venue at the House of Rock, which was, in terms of crowd, it was not really that much of a crowd because right next door was the Pauly D was supposedly DJing for so basically Pauly D was the main attraction, while Vibe, which was the band, was kind of more of the secondary attraction. So it was a good show. They always put on some good stuff as well. So and then after the show, I drove my friend back, and I got to hang out at Grantham Hall, which was my home away from home for about 4 years when I was a college student. So I was pretty cool about that. People seemed to be pretty nice, so it was good. Alright, so for this episode of the podcast, I'm pretty much done with it. So there might be an episode 13 in the future, but don't expect me to have one up as soon as possible. So anyway, I will see you all probably in the near future, or hopefully this week. Thank you for listening to the podcast. I am out. Peace out.